Hey everyone, this is Safe Buys, I'm Safe, and today I wanted to give you my quick opinion here on two of the best noise cancelling headsets that I came across. I ended up on these two, filtering through a bunch of different noise cancelling headsets, trying to find the best one for my use case. We got the AirPods Max on the left, the Sony WH-1000XM5 on the right. Now, I'll just make this easy. The main reason I would go for the Sony over the AirPods Max is number one, if I'm on Android and I don't have an iPhone and I'm not in the Apple ecosystem. Number two, if I prefer listening to music over listening to movies and podcasts and things like that, I would definitely go for the Sony because the Sony gives you a more versatile EQ. Basically, you can adjust the sound to suit your like. So I can go into the Sony app and easily change the sound profile to fit my needs. Basically, the Sony Headphone Connect app, and you can see it right there. You can adjust whether it's in noise cancelling or what have you, but the main thing I'm showing you here is the equalizer. So I prefer this bright setting, so it says bright there for the EQ. And when you turn it off, it sounds closer to what the AirPods Max sounds like, but here at least you get the option of if you like a brighter sound, if you like an excited sound, a mellow, or if you prefer to have it focus on the vocals. And there's a bunch of other settings and cool stuff in this app as well. You can analyze your ear shape and stuff like that, but I think most of that is a gimmick. The main thing I like is adjusting the EQs, and I prefer to set it on bright. And basically this makes me prefer almost all my music, like from rock to rap to anything I listen to, really, R&B, everything like that. House music sounds really good on the bright EQ on the Sonys. I just don't like listening to music as much on the AirPods Max. Even though a lot of people say its sound quality isn't that bad neither. The thing about sound quality you're gonna find is, if you Google it, our hearing is as unique as our fingerprints. So each human ear hears stuff differently and you're gonna have different preferences. And my issue with the AirPods Max is that I can't adjust the EQ. So that's why for music, I would definitely go for the Sonys. Another reason I would go for the Sonys is the battery life. This one, I can pick it up and reliably, I think it has like 30 hours of battery life, and then it has, if you charge it for 5 minutes, you'll get 3 hours of battery life. So I rarely ever worry about this one, the Sonys, not being charged up. Like I pick it up, I reliably know it's either charged up or if I need to charge it, but I pretty much never have needed to charge it because it's always topped up. That is not the case for the Apple AirPods Max, and that's even with me using the case here to put it in. Usually when I reach for my AirPods Max, the battery is depleted or on the verge of being depleted. And I don't know why that is, but the battery life for sure on the Sonys is superior. And if that's a big concern for you, I would go for the Sonys. But I'm not gonna stop there. I'm gonna let you know the main reasons you'd wanna go for the AirPods Max. The AirPods Max, in my opinion, has the superior controls. The controls here are physical buttons and they're much easier to handle than the touch sensitivity on the Sonys, where you need to control it via swiping gestures on the right ear cup. Because those, number one, you can accidentally do gestures that you didn't intend to, in my experience, and also when you have gloves on and you're outside, it really is hit or miss, I find. The controls, I wish they were just physical, just like on the AirPods Max. The AirPods Max, I can reliably just noise cancelling off, skip the next song easily with this toggle here, increase the volume, lower it, reliably and with great accuracy, and I pretty much never press anything when I'm using the AirPods Max buttons. The other thing you're gonna prefer about the AirPods Max is their integration if you're in the Apple ecosystem. So it has Apple's Find My built in, so you could pretty much reliably find your headsets if you ever were to lose them. Sony has its own version of that, but I don't think it's as reliable as the Apple Find My network. And also it will basically connect seamlessly to your iPhone and your Apple TV and your Mac, and it will be able to seamlessly switch between all of them. The Sony does have multi-point Bluetooth connectivity, so you can connect to 2 devices at once, but you can't connect to like 3 or 4 different Apple devices as seamlessly as you would on the Apple AirPods Max. That's because you would need to pair it, number one, first with each device separately, do the Bluetooth pairing, and then you would have to sort of trade off once you switch to a 3rd device or a 4th device, like your TV or a different phone, or you're using your MacBook and you have multiple laptops, or like, I don't know what scenario there is. If you're in the Apple ecosystem, ease of use will go to the AirPods Max for sure. In terms of the noise cancelling, I will say they are both pretty much on par. Like noise cancelling wise, I don't think either one will eliminate more noise than the other in my day-to-day experience. However, the transparency mode, that is when you've got these on and you want to hear what's around you, like right now I can hear myself perfectly in a very natural way. And that's just by tapping this button here. Super easy to trigger, and I can be going on my walk to pick up Starbucks coffee or what have you, and I can easily just toggle this on and off reliably. That is not the case with the Sonys. There's a way to like cup the ear cups on the Sonys, and then you can sort of go into transparency, but That's a little gimmicky. Like, I just want a reliable button that I can press, and you can press it here, but I just prefer the location of the AirPods Max one, the button there, and it's a lot easier to find, easier to press, and there's only 2 buttons here, so you're not really confused. So transparency, definitely, it sounds just a little bit more robotic on the Sonys, I would say. You can definitely notice that you're wearing a headset with the Sonys, whereas when I'm talking here and I put the transparency mode on, it feels like I'm not wearing anything. I can have a full-on conversation with you right now, or with anyone on the street, and not mind it that much at all. So that's another major selling feature here. And then my final reason for going for the AirPods Max is gonna be the look. I much prefer this sleeker look on the sides here with nothing bulging out. Whereas on the Sonys, you can see, you just have this bulge here, and I don't really like that. Like, after wearing this for a bit, you can tell that this is the more stylish statement, basically. But again, it might be super subjective. Like, I know people that don't like the look of the AirPods Max, but me personally, like, I don't see why you would want to have big things coming out of your ears. I believe the only other headset that has a sleek profile like this are the Sonos Ace headphones, and I don't really recommend those in general because of a lot of reasons. This one's super sleek. Price-wise, obviously the Sonys are going to be considerably cheaper most of the time, but you're really getting what you pay for in terms of build quality, I feel like. But Sony, honestly, I would trust them. Like, I don't think this is going to break over time or anything. They've been in the headphone game for a long time. And this is definitely lighter than this. Comfort, I didn't really mention it because they're both equally as comfortable in my book. The ear holes here are much wider on the AirPods Max, I would say, than this. This is more likely your ear would touch the cloth on the Sonys more likely than it would on the AirPods Max. In fact, I'm pretty sure, I find it hard to believe anyone's ears would touch the inside of the cloth on the AirPods Max because of how deep that is. Also like the fact that this thing is magnetic. You could just, if you wear these out, just buy a replacement pair, plop them on. Super easy user experience there with the magnets. Whereas on the Sonys, is a bit of a process if you want to remove the ear cuffs. For movies, I definitely prefer the AirPods Max as well, especially if you have an Apple TV 4K or you watch a lot of movies on your phone. It's just able to get that Apple Spatial audio and give you sound that makes you feel like you're in a room with a really good sound system, basically. Like, I really admire the performance of these AirPods Max for movies, TV shows on my phone, as well as on the Apple TV 4K. And then I admire it also for podcasts and audiobooks and stuff like that. Like, it's just super seamless. Again, it all comes together really nicely. Like, any one feature wouldn't mean much, but the fact that this has all of that going for it, amazing noise canceling, perfect transparency mode, really comfortable, a lot of room in there for your ears, perfect integration with your Apple AirPods. You're not gonna lose it because you have Apple Find My. It's just got a lot going for it in that sense, whereas the Sonys obviously shine in different regards. Like I said, like the music quality, they're also super comfortable. But yeah, the main reason I would go for the Sonys is the music quality and the battery life. That's basically the conclusion there. Also, a small thing, I don't really consider this a big factor. I certainly wouldn't buy one over the other because of this, but Sony comes with a case that closes it up like that. It's fully protected from all sides. The AirPods Max, as you probably know, comes with this weird purse thing. You just slap them in, and I've been using the AirPods Max for a lot longer than the Sonys, and I can tell you that I haven't had any issue. I throw this in my bag, no problem. The band here hasn't really suffered much of anything. This is after, I bought this around when the AirPods Max came out, so it's been several years now. It's still pretty much as good as day one, albeit with a little bit of wear, but still perfectly usable. Obviously, if you have pens or something, just make sure those aren't in your bag and they're not gonna poke this thing or anything like that, but I haven't had any issues durability-wise using it in this case with the AirPods Max. My main issue is the battery life. Usually when I reach for these, for some reason they are depleted, and like, it's a known issue. But for all the other reasons I mentioned, I would probably, if I'm in an Apple ecosystem, I would probably still go for the AirPods Max, unless I'm really into music, in which case I would consider the Sonys, and I would probably consider other headsets out there. For me personally, it's that Sony Bright EQ. That's my preferred sound for music, so that's why I would go Sony all the time when I'm focusing on music, basically, if I just want to enjoy the listening experience. Hope that all made sense. I really do like them both, to be honest, but I will say that the Sony WH-1000XM5 is a safe buy. The AirPods Max is a safe buy. This is safe buys, and happy shopping, everyone.